15. Stand by.
Tonight at 9, statewide bar order. Governor Reeves extends COVID-19 restrictions in an effort to slow the spread. The reaction from business owners. Plus, virtual-only fall. Students in Jackson Public Schools will not see the inside of the classroom. What Dr. Eric Green said about that decision. And lowering drug prices. The president's move targeting the cost of prescriptions. What's in his latest executive order? Good evening and welcome everyone. I'm Byron Brown. Thank you for joining us at 9 o'clock here on the CW. Let's get a check on your forecast now with Chief Meteorologist Ken South. Ken?
All right, most of our showers from earlier today dissipating, but the rain will be back for tomorrow because we've still got a tropical storm down here in the Gulf of Mexico. It will be making landfall in South Texas as we go through the day tomorrow. About midday tomorrow is when we're expecting that landfall as possibly a Category 1 hurricane. Now, we've got more tropical weather farther out in the Atlantic. I'll let you know how that may or may not affect our weather here in Mississippi coming up in the full forecast in 10 minutes.
Thank you, Ken. We begin with the coronavirus outbreak. Today, the State Department of Health reporting 1,610 new cases of COVID-19. That takes Mississippi's total since March up to 49,663. 1,463 people have died. More than 30,000 people are estimated to have recovered from the virus. Keeping his promise, Governor Reeves laid out a series of new orders across the state. First, he added 6 more counties to an order requiring people to wear masks in public. Those include Calhoun, Holmes, Lamar, Montgomery, Winston, and Yellowbusha. The order starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. and is set to go through Monday, August 3rd. Governor Reeves is also lowering the number of people who can gather in public, like for private parties. Indoors used to be 20, now it's to 10. And outside used to be 50 when social distancing wasn't possible. Now only 20 people can be together outdoors. Meantime, bars and restaurants across the state will also have to follow new rules. Alcohol can only be sold to people who are sitting down, and sales must stop by 11 p.m. This order went into effect immediately. Here's Governor Reeves on that decision.
Our bars must look more like restaurants and less like mobs of COVID-19 spread.
Well, we spoke to the owner of the Bulldog in Jackson about what she thought about the new restrictions.
It's just unfortunate. You know, we want to do everything we can to keep the public safe, to keep our staff safe, and just to stop the spread. It's just disappointing that we got to this place in July.
Bars and restaurants still have their own individual restrictions on how many people are allowed inside at one time. That's 50% of their listed capacity. Though tables are limited to 6 people and must be placed at least 6 feet apart. We want to hear from you. Do you agree with Governor Reeves' restrictions on Mississippi bars? We have a poll on our WJTV 12 Facebook page right now. So far, an overwhelming majority of you say you agree with the order. Be sure to leave a comment below telling us why or why not. Here's what some of you had to say already. S.H. Campbell wrote, "Perfect environment for the spread, just like school, need more restrictions." Rocky Barrett disagrees with the restrictions, saying in part, "Let us just be who we want. If an individual wants to mask up, then fine. If not, then fine." And finally, Robert Wallace writes, "Yes, I agree, but Reeves isn't going far enough. He's trying to nickel and dime this thing." Thank you all for your comments so far. Still plenty of time for this poll. Again, that is on our Facebook page at WJTV 12. Another order signed by Governor Reeves affects people on state unemployment. The 1-week waiting period for receiving unemployment insurance will be waived through December 26. Work search requirements are suspended through August 8th, and the $2,200 earning allowance continues through September 26th. At the federal level, the additional $600 a week people were seen in their unemployment checks officially expires at the end of the month. Mississippi Democratic Congressman Benny Thompson says the House tried to extend that benefit, tweeting, "The House extended unemployment benefits until January 31st of next year through the HEROES Act, but, quote, the Senate went home without taking up the bill. Mitch McConnell and other senators should be ashamed of themselves," end quote. Tonight, Jackson Public Schools makes a big change to its reopening plans. The district will be virtual only for the fall semester. That means no students or teachers in classrooms. The proposed start date is also being pushed back 2 days to August 12th. Dr. Green says that there are plans to give out devices to teachers and students to help them stay connected, but the district is not currently receiving any federal funding to pay for them. The superintendent admitted that there are some drawbacks.
There are some scholars who are already challenged, have learning needs, have physical needs, and that sort of thing. You know, the plan that we launched before had its challenges. This plan has its challenges, and so I don't want folks to walk away from this presentation thinking, you know, we're not mindful of those challenges. Trust me when I say we're mindful of those challenges.
Dr. Green also said that there's no timetable for athletics and extracurricular activities, but those are looking unlikely for the fall. President Trump signed several executive orders of his own today. They targeted the price of prescription drugs. The orders require the discounts that were given to some hospitals for insulin and EpiPens to be passed on to patients. The president will also allow drugs to be imported from other countries like Canada, where the prices are much lower. He said the changes should eliminate the middlemen who were getting rich.
We pay 80% more than nations like Germany, Canada, and others for some of the most expensive medicines, identical in all respects. This means that Americans are funding the enormous cost of drug research and development for the entire planet.
The president said as a result of these orders, drug company executives are now set to visit the White House next week to further work on cost-cutting solutions. We have more local news. Governor Tate Reeves has made his appointments to the State Flag Commission. They are Betsy Hamilton from the State Department of Archives and History, from the Mississippi Economic Council, Tribal Chief Cyrus Ben, and Frank Bordeaux, Vice President with BXS Insurance. He sits on the Mississippi Arts Commission. The appointments come to 2 days after the commission held its first meeting. They will choose a design for a new state flag that will be voted on this November. In Jefferson Davis County, authorities are now searching for 2 men that escaped from the county jail. Marcus Bridges and Desmond Fortenberry escaped Thursday night. Bridges is charged with armed robbery. Fortenberry is accused of murder. Authorities say that both men should be considered to be armed and dangerous. If you see either of these men, you are asked to call law enforcement. Coming up, the son of a reality star is found dead in his backyard, while friends are saying it was murder. And no Neshoba, how the county is going on without its giant house party. That's later in Focus on Mississippi. But for now, let's go back to Ken.
All right, lots of tropical weather out there tonight. We've got Hannah in the Gulf of Mexico, Gonzalo moving toward the Caribbean, and Isaias is coming soon. You'll see the 8-day forecast coming up next. You're watching 12 News.
Stand by.
Breaking news right now, the American Southwest Conference is postponing fall sports to spring 2021. This directly affects Belhaven University. Athletic Director Scott Little said in a statement, quote, "It's very disappointing now, but today we pivot and immediately direct our efforts towards preparation for essential out-of-season fall training for our sports programs, end quote. I have the full statement over on our website under the sports tab. The Mississippi Association of Community Colleges voted today to delay the start of the fall 2020 football season to October 1st. The 2020 season will consist of a 6-game regular season with divisional play only and will conclude with a playoff. Taylorsville standout quarterback Ty Keys committed to Tulane. Rivals ranked Keys the 5th best player in the state. In 3 seasons with the Tartars, he threw for over 12,000 yards and 125 touchdowns and a 44-2 record as the starting quarterback. Not to mention he led Taylorsville to 3 state championships, winning 2 of them. Gatorade also named him the 2019 Mississippi Player of the Year.
I feel confident that Tulane is going to put me in the best position to be successful in life. Become a better man I am. Coaching staff, we had a Zoom meeting like last week. Like they had my jersey on. That made me feel like that was my home.
In other commitment news, Jackson Academy's Lardarius Webb committed to Nebraska. The offer from the Cornhuskers was his first. The cornerback recently transferred to JA from Beauregard, Alabama. He says along with winning a state title, one of his biggest goals for his senior year is to exceed in the classroom.
It felt like home. Like when they called me, it just felt like I already knew them before, and it just made me feel like so welcome. I really feel I need to go to that school because they really care about me. But my first goal is I'm trying to get 8 interceptions and 1 pick 6. And when I go to JA, I'm just trying to keep my grades up and I'm trying to score a good SAT score. So I'll be ready to prepare for signing day.
And some highlights, Braves and Mets lined up on the baselines holding a black rope to signify unity, and some cardboard cutouts of fans placed in the lower level seats. Top of the first, Jacob deGrom opens the season by striking out Ronald Acuna Jr. Bottom of the first now, man on first, Jeff McNeil lines out to first. Freddie Freeman with the unassisted double play. Scoreless game, Mets having fun there with some cutout fans with longtime nemesis Chipper Jones. Bottom of the 5th, J.D. Davis drives one deep to center, but Ender Inciarte robs him of extra bases with the leaping catch. The Braves are going to fall in this one in their season opener 1-0. Now let's send it to Ken for a final look at our weather.
All right, thanks, Samaria. Here's a look at our next 8 days. This will take us through the last week of July and into the first day of August, which is next Saturday. Temperatures will be in the upper 80s to low 90s for highs, 70s for lows, about a 60 to 70% chance of daily storms next week. Byron, back to you.
Thank you, Ken. Remember, news, weather, and sports are available 24/7 at WJTV.com on the news and weather apps. Be sure to engage with us on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram. And be sure to tune in to WJTV this morning. That show begins at 6 a.m. Until then, everyone, make it a good night. We leave you now with Living Local.